Peace and blessings. My name is Cinnamon, and today I would like to talk about this upcoming full moon. This full moon is going to be an eclipse, and it is in the sign of Taurus. We just had a solar eclipse, now we're having a lunar eclipse, and so, yeah, this is a lot of energy. And so, I want to know, did you set your intentions? Did you make any wishes at the new moon during that solar eclipse? Did you set intentions? Did you make any wishes? Did you plan for what you want to do during this whole lunar cycle? Those things are important to do at a new moon because it helps, like, your whole life kind of sets like an aim or a goal for the month. And so when you set intentions at the new moon, it's like you're planting seeds, little seeds of, things that you want to come into your life. And so by the time that the full moon comes, which is coming up on the 28th, you should start seeing sprouts of those wishes or of those, intentions that you set. You should start seeing them around the full moon. And all these eclipses, planet shifting, this is a lot of energy. And so, we want to make sure that we're staying in harmony, staying in the flow of the universe, not going against the grain, stay in the flow, like pay attention to what's going on. Know what's going on so that you can utilize that energy to the best of your ability. So, because this full moon is in Taurus, it is a good time to look back and see when the new moon was in Taurus, and that was on May 19th. So, what you do is you think about what was going on in your life mid-May, the whole month of May, really, but look back, figure out what's going on, what was happening in your life, what was happening at your job, what was happening in your relationship. And now, here it is 6 months later, when the full moon is in Taurus, look at the two, do a comparison and see, where things are now, especially like if you had issues going on, where are those issues now? Dreams, hopes, wishes, plans, whatever you had, May 19th, what is going on with them now that the full moon is in Taurus? This is a good time. Whenever this happens, like at new moons and full moons, it's a good time to do a evaluation of your life. Like, what has happened in the last 6 months? Like when I set my intentions, when the new moon was in Taurus, where is my life now that the full moon is in Taurus? Just a good way to help you see like where you're at. Are you on the right path? Do you need to make some changes in your life? Is it time to kind of switch things up, take a new route, whatever? This is a good time for that. New moon, full moon. Do your new moon readings. Set your intentions. Do your new moon rituals. Full moon. Good full moon rituals, I'm going to tell you. Really, really good things to do because when the moon is full, it's time to kind of set intentions on getting things out of your life. Like, it's great time. I'm telling you, things to do during like full moon and waning phase. Let me tell you. So, first thing, it's a great time to start decluttering. Like, if you got a whole bunch of stuff in your house, get it out. Get it out. Make room for the new. Get rid of stuff. Get rid of, stuff in your house, situations that are not, in your best interest. People who are not in your best interest. It's time to remove things out of your life during the waning phase. So look at your life. See what things are like holding you back. What things are causing confusion. This is the time to let those things go. Another thing, I gotta turn this light on. So another thing to do is to, like, if you have projects it's time to kind of bring those projects to an end, bring them to a close. I got my notes here, so I keep looking. This is a good time to settle differences. It's time to reach agreements with people. Um, and oh, yes, starting the day after the full moon. If you want to make any kind of like herbal remedies, natural medicines, do that starting the day after the full moon, because this is when they are stronger. When you make them, I mean, we know life is controlled by the sun and the moon. Seasons by the sun, the moon controls all the other things like, the tides and our minds, because you know how things get during a full moon. So it's also great on plants, fish, everything. So like people who go crabbing or go get like shellfish, they know this, that it's best to do that during the waning phase, because everything's meatier. Like crabs, they're fatter. You get more meat if you get them after the full moon. Like with shellfish also, like if mussels, clams, all of them, they're fatter. You will get more out of them if you get them after the full moon rather than like before the full moon. You're not going to get as much. So we must remember that the moon affects so many things, like cutting your hair. When the full moon and the whole waning phase, if you have certain hair that you really don't want to grow, like women, we shave our legs, you don't want that to grow back faster. So the best time to shave your legs, shave your armpit hair, whatever, do any waxing, do that after the full moon during the waning phase, because things grow slower, so your hair will not grow back as fast. Like if you want your hair to grow fast, you do that after the new moon. So just to let you know, things you should not do during the waning phase: do not get any surgeries done. If you can avoid it, please do, because people have more complications and the healing process is slower during the waning phase. So these are things to pay attention to, because like I said, we want to go in the flow with the universe so that life can be easier. So like I said, don't get surgeries, because then you're going against the flow. More issues, longer healing time. You don't want that. So try to schedule, if it is at all possible, schedule those things after the new moon. So, I am not an astrologer, but I am a person, I love the phases of the moon. I love to study the phases of the moon. And so when I do this, for those of us who are not astrologers, I strongly suggest that you get, I know a lot of you already have these Moonology decks, because you can just open it up, and like we know that the full moon is in Taurus, you can go look in your book and read what a full moon in Taurus, what energy it brings. So, and of course we all know how Taurus people are. They're very practical. So this is time to be practical with your goal setting and your intentions. Be practical. But it's interesting because of this eclipse, and the sun is in Scorpio, while the moon is in Taurus. So it's kind of like not like a contrasting energy, but very interesting combination of the two energies. And it really helps to kind of study these things so that you can like look at your life and how you want to move these things in your life. Let me see. Oh, well, yes, we are in October, and in October, as most of us know, the veil begins to thin between the living and those who are no longer in flesh. I will tell you, I just had a dream that was about 3 nights ago, that we were having a family reunion. It was like a family reunion. All of the elders showed up at our house, and it was so beautiful. It was some of the ancestors, some of the elders that were in my dreams. They are no longer living. Some of them were, But it was such like a beautiful experience. And it just let me know, whoa, yes, the veil is thinning. I am now, they're showing up in my dreams again. And during this time, it's easier to do like ancestor work, or, communicating with your ancestors, doing, ancestral, you know, like spells, or just wanting to communicate with them, to, see them. It's been a long time. This is a great time to do that. There are certain herbs that you can burn that help. Wormwood and mugwort are very good ones. Put them on your charcoal before you go to sleep. And yeah, you may have one of your ancestors show up. That happened for me because my father's mother was passing away. And that night, I got to turn this light on again. So I had to, well, what I did was I got her name. I wrote her name on some paper. I burnt my ancestor incense, burnt the candle. I had her picture right there, and I fell asleep saying her name. And at 5 o'clock in the morning, I heard the doorbell ring. And I woke my husband up and like, hey, somebody's at the door. And he went down, he checked, he came back up. He's like, there's nobody at the door. And I was like, whoa, what if that's my grandmother? So I grabbed my baby and I went downstairs, and she was about 10 months, and she started waving and smiling at the front door. And I was like, whoa, okay, so she see it. Guess my grandmother really is here. So I sat and I talked with my grandmother for about a half an hour. And then I was like, okay, Grandma, I got to go upstairs and get the other baby. So I went upstairs, got, changed the baby's diaper, got my 2-year-old, and was bringing them downstairs to get them something to eat. And when we got downstairs, my 2-year-old said, hey, I see someone. And I'm like, where? He's like, over there. And he pointed by the front door. And I'm like, whoa, okay, so 2 babies have seen my grandmother so far. I was like, whoa, this is amazing. So after that, I saw the orbs. And then one night, one of my sons, well, he told me in the morning, he had got up in the middle of the night to go to the restroom. And that next morning, he came and he told me, he said, I got up last night and there was a woman standing in the hallway. I was like, okay, so this is another person that has seen my grandmother. My grandmother, before she had passed, she was living in New Orleans, and we were living in Washington. And my father, who had dementia, was in a nursing home. And I was talking to my grandmother on the phone, and she said, well, I'm going to come up to Washington. When I get there, can you take me to see your father? I said, of course, I'd love to take you to see my father. Well, my grandmother passed before I could take her to see my father. But I had gone to New Orleans for her funeral. When I came back to Washington, I went to see my father. And my father started laughing and said, oh, I see my mother. She's right there. And oh my goodness. I'm so happy I had my camera because I've got to record him seeing her. It was so amazing. And so, like I said, at this time, now we are in this time where the veil is thinner. So we will have more encounters with our loved ones who are no longer in the flesh, which is a great thing. For some, it can be a little, that could make them nervous. But it's a beautiful thing. And so I hope that those of you who wish to speak with someone, a loved one who is no longer here, I hope you get that experience. I hope you all enjoy this beautiful energy of this full moon eclipse. There's a lot of energy going on, like I said. Hey, it's beautiful time to get in touch with your spirit, get in touch with your ancestors. I hope all of you are able to do this. I hope you have enjoyed this information, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.